This is a feature we have in clextra, but it comes from a business model which has been deployed within clextra. So let me explain the business model. There's this concept called two-horse theory in marketing and sales. In that, in any category of product, there are only two. There's a number one and there's a number two, and everybody else is forgotten. In fact, there's a famous advertising line called, I think it was for rental cars, Hertz, who said, "We are number two, and therefore we work harder." So sometimes being number two helps you benchmark and target the number one and go for that number one. Hardly anyone remembers a third or a fourth. I mean, for example, who landed on the moon? Everybody knows the answer. Who was the second person? You'd think twice about answering that question. And who was the third or fourth person? No one would recall. So there comes this concept of this two-horse theory. You might know the first person who did it, or the leading product in a category, but you might not recall the second, and definitely not being the third, fourth of it. So essentially, what we do is we benchmark uh, yourself against one other. So that means it's you and you benchmark yourself with one other. So this can apply to products, locations, assets, performance, or even people. So we have this deployed as a standard model within Clextra, and therefore I'm bringing this up. So let's assume that it is one other product for this, for the example, for you to understand the example. Let's say I have one other product that I want to compare with. That's what you would like. Now, let's say we have some attributes to that other product. So these are user definable attributes. On the left side, we have about 6, 9, 12, 15 odd parameters. They're user definable. Now on the left side, I have 15 parameters. Now I have the opposite of that on the right side. So there are 15 parameters on the right side. So now we have a rating system, of a 9-point rating system internally. So that's how we quantify it internally, which is goes from -4, 0 being a default option or no answer option, to +4, so -4. This is how we internally quantify it. But the questions you're posing to the individual is, does the product seem, will it appeal to the rich or to the poor? So you're bringing in attributes here: exciting or calm, okay, exciting or boring, easygoing or intense, uh, relaxed or tense, thrifty or indulgent. Is it formal or casual? For example, it could be a shirt or trousers, jeans. Is it outgoing? So you can see that these are attributes which are always used in advertising and communication. So for every single product within the portfolio that you have within Clextra, we can bring up and set up these parameters and do this. Of course, you could run surveys now. We have a SurveyMonkey equivalent within Clextra. You can do it externally or internally. Gather some information and benchmark and compare that to the product that you have. So this is part of our sales and marketing product portfolio management. As I said, it applies to all other aspects across the product, but it's most relevant and useful and used in sales and marketing to do communications against this. So this is broadly based on the two-horse theory and what we call intangible benchmarking. So to recap, you can set up your own set of parameters, either side of good, bad, between the two. Internally, it uses a 9-point system. So when you say very shy or very outgoing, it would go to either extreme. But if you just say shy, it could be a 2 versus a outgoing -2. So this is internally managed. So eventually, you can see that this gets aggregated to the attributes that you are getting feedback from consumer feedback or employee feedback based on key parameters that you've predetermined for benchmarking the one versus the other. So this is essentially a model for what we call a two-horse theory, which is implemented within Clextra.